Hey, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, I don't really know. But welcome to another Inside Britball podcast. As once again, it's time to loosen those cleats and pop your flags, because tonight, for your digestion, we've got an extra special treat for you all, as we're joined by not one, not two, not even three, but all four of your Premier National finalists in an audio-visual feast that's more tasty than a butt burger at the Hunger Games. So let's kick back, bask in the unrivaled glory of the evening ahead of us, and all the joy that is another great IBB flag POD. Tonight's guests are finalist number one, Vinny from the Huntsmen, finalist number two, Connor from the Nomads, finalist number three, Josh from Phoenix, and potentially painfully straddling two horses, your host and Centurion HC, Legs Akimbo, that's me. First of all, we're going to say hello, though, to Connor. Good evening, Connor. Good to have you here. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Yeah, very well, thank you.
That's an awkward start, isn't it? When I'm setting you up like that. Come on, give us a bit of juice on your corner for the sake of anyone who's like, who hasn't met you, because you guys all know each other. We've just been in the green room talking about that, and I felt so awkward. So I'm like, yeah, we're practically best friends. It's like, okay, so we're the odd ones at the party. Connor, tell us about yourself. Tell us a bit about you, the Nomads, what you've been doing.
Of course, no problem. A bit of personal to start. I am Connor Drennan. I've played flag for, I'm going to say, about 7 years now. Right. I originally started with the Swansea Hammerheads after coming across from rugby and then American football through the Swansea Titans in university. And I've been a defensive back ever since. Haven't quite got the hands yet for receiver, but who knows, maybe one day. And then, we've made our way across to Norwich, where I am a current defence coordinator, and we've got a nice little growing team, which have been going now for coming up to 2 years. Doing quite well. Really proud of it.
So that transition, just before we go on the others, that transition from being a Welshman, a proud Welshman, no doubt, who plays rugby, into non-contact flag football, how many personal contact fouls did it take as a defensive back before you settled in? I mean, were we talking a half a dozen?
I dare not tell you the number. However, for a bit of context, last awards night, I was personally shouted out for leading the team in contact fouls. I'm improving, but I'd imagine that being out of action for a couple of months now probably helps.
You can't uncoach that, though, can you? You can't uncoach it. And I mean, in Wales, it's in your blood. Yeah. No, I get that. So now I'm going to go to the second half of the tap here, and if you'll excuse me for getting a little bit overly friendly there. We've got Josh down there from Coventry, Phoenix, who I believe is also a Welshman. So first of all, what's going on, by the way, with the finals this year? Is this like a Welsh takeover? Is there something going on here that we need to be aware of? Has there been a discussion? Has something been pre-agreed? Josh.
Yeah, me and Connor had a gentleman's handshake about 6 years ago when we were both playing for Welsh teams. We'll see each other 6 years from now in the Prem finals for two English teams. And we spoke into existence apparently, but no. It's just a small coincidence that two Welshmen that played for two English teams have somehow managed to get to the Prem finals this year.
It's pretty awesome, actually. But the one clear difference that the listener, the viewer, might not be able to see just yet is that, in fact, Josh is the tallest man in the Northern Hemisphere, a mere 7'8", or whatever it is. So I mean, what did they feed you on down there? Like, was there some bizarre diet as a child that resulted in you being almost giraffe-like?
I don't really know, to be honest, because my dad was in the army, so all I knew growing up was just following my dad around. So they must have some weird milk that they give babies, like army babies, but no, most of my family are quite tall. Luckily, I'm the tallest now in the family, but.
So I'm not going to mess with either of you guys, right? Finals day, like, straight out of the get-go, I'm not starting a fight with either one of you. Nor am I going to start a fight either with Vinny from Leicester, because he's got a dude in his team, number 14, who's like so hench, it's ridiculous. Like that guy, like I don't know his name, but we got chatting away. We know each other, but it's one of those awkward flag football relationships where neither one of you ever asks for the other one's name. It's like kind of like. Vinny, how are you, and how are the incredibly athletic Leicester Huntsmen?
I'm good, thank you, Nick. We are eager to get to the finals. We've got a few more training sessions on the way, so we're working through them best we can. But it's kind of a case of now just waiting till September comes around and we can get balling.
And exciting as it is, I think you have yet to lose a game this year. So, I mean, I'm just going to make this awkward for you, but out of the four of us, I feel like you're going into it with that unblemished record that there's any one of three other people in this call would really love to ruin. But what a season it's been for Leicester. I mean, we played you last year in the Div 1 Nationals down in Manchester. We rode in undefeated thinking, okay, this Leicester team's lost a couple of games, what they like, and then bang, that was it, we were out. When was the last time you actually lost a game of football?
So actually, the last time we lost was against the Nomads on the second. So it was the game day in Norwich on a Sunday, and that was a very, very good game. It was back and forth, defensive stops from us, defensive stops from them. And I believe they might have won by 3 points or 4 points. Ultimately, in the head-to-head record, they had on the points differential. But we both finished 15-1 on that season, with the Badgers 2 games behind both of us. And then it's just a case of how the seeding, when we went into that as the wildcard team into that the playoffs, as Nomads won the division, and ultimately it just meant we had to go in playing the best available seed left after each round.
So, does that make you like 31 games or something undefeated as it stands today?
Yeah, we played 12 this year.
19 last.
So 19,
the 15, right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, 19 at the minute, but we're not really thinking much about how many we're undefeated. It's always next game, making sure.
Yeah, good.
Job done.
Now, on the awkward subject of defeats, I believe that both Connor and Josh share an awkwardly team that is not on this call. Now, we talked about this before, and there's been the curse of the second seed in North and South. In North, it was Newcastle Blackhawks who rode into the regional playoffs and got bumped out by, some bunch of scallywags from Carlisle. And in the South, it was the same with the other side of town, Coventry Panthers. However, the Coventry Panthers, I mean, that was more of a surprise because those guys have been, pretty hot. Like, they've been a hot hand, as have Newcastle. No disrespect there whatsoever, Newcastle, please, no complaints. But now you both came victim to that at some point this season as well, didn't you? Or yeah, so first of all, should we tip our cap to or maybe fire the cannons or do something, have a minute silence for Coventry Panther? But tell us a little bit about that team, because that feels like there's a missing entity here that we should probably start with talking about, and maybe how that finals day went, because that was nobody got that on the bingo card. Okay, nobody saw that coming on the bingo card. At worst we were looking at a ding dong between the two Coventry teams getting loaded up, but all of a sudden it was this ferocious beast was tamed. What happened there? Okay, I'll step back. Connor, first of all, tell me everything you know about Coventry Panthers. Make it nice and awkward for Josh because he lives in the same city as them, to then build off that. So come on.
Yeah, I'll tick the boxes, leave you to it. I mean, for the most part, I think the overall summary is they are generally just a very well-rounded team. Mm-hmm. I think that when we tried our best to do a scout on them, there wasn't a specific area that we were able to sort of look at and go, you know what, we can attack this. And the results speak for themselves. Then we end up losing by that point on the last drive of the game.
Wow.
They did what they needed to do to get that win. And like I said, hats off to them. Great team, as well as a lot of teams we played this season. I don't want to not give any credit to some of the others, but credit to Panthers and serious commiserations for not making that final four.
And there were some good other teams in there, to be fair. I mean, you had a really, really tough group. Just to recap for the listener, we're talking here playing London Rebels, who Brian we know well, great team. I know Brian had a pinky injury, but you still had to turn up on the playoffs day, and all that stuff went on with VPP, who are also in that group. You've got a London Spark team who albeit a London Spark team that only picked up 5 wins this year. They're still from that stable. They're still, like coached by great coaches. They play at a high standard. And then not to sleep on the Chichester Sharks also. What a hell of a place to be if you're from Reading. I mean, what a hell of a group to come from if you're from Reading. But I think, that group that you've come out of is definitely, it's pedigree all the way through. I mean, it's a pedigree group. But yet we have the Panthers coming in as the number 1 seed over Phoenix. Now, what was that by? Because I got this down as you both won 13, lost 3. I mean, what was it? Was like a shaving competition at the end? It went into the margins of. Do you know what I mean? It was like, did you not win it on your height? Did they have somebody who was 6'5"? What I mean, like, we get right down to these kind of like points conceded malarkey. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So again, all respects to Coventry Panthers. I think they're a fantastic club. They're deep. They're very structured on defense, very structured on offense. They got some fantastic players. The reason that they did finish above us in the end is just point differential. So I think they beat us 41-26 when we first played them. And then when we played them, I can't remember the score. I think it was like 36-26 or something. I'm not too sure. I can't remember the score fully, but there was only like 6 points in or whatever in the end. So they finished above us on just the points difference in our game. So a bit annoying, but I said football's a game of inches, in it. So unfortunately, we got to take those losses sometimes. But we didn't get the curse of the second seed, so that's all that matters to me.
No, but I mean, at the same time, you guys have done incredibly well to get into this Final Four. And I mean, Coventry Panthers, sure, we all thought they might be the London Rebels. We might have argued too. Newcastle Blackhawks. There's been some great teams throughout this year. I think Leicester, you were very dominant, to be fair, Vinny, in your group. I'm just looking at the table off screen here, and you kind of romped home with 4 wins above your nearest contender. Tell us a little bit about your group this year. Because I don't think it does it justice. I saw Sheffield at the playoffs. They were a good team. Tell us about your group.
Yeah, so we didn't really know much about the teams we were playing other than the names from previous seasons. We knew about Sheffield Giants. We're close with them. Giants were actually one of the teams we had our BAFA affiliation games with. So that was a team we had connections with. And obviously they've got some GB under 21 players who our players are also were part of. The rest of them, so like Manchester Titans Bees, we knew that the national team was going to feed into that squad somehow. And I think over toward the end of the season, they were getting better. Who else was there? West Lancs came up unexpectedly because of the dropout from Grangemouth Colts, I believe it was. Yeah. And the first game they saw them, there was about 22 on the sideline. And you can see that that's a very, very big squad that they have. Wigan, they started off strong. I remember reffing their first game against Sheffield, and at halftime it was 7-7. Both teams were really going at it. But unfortunately, also for Wigan, they kind of dropped off towards the back end of the season. They were rocking up to game days with 5 players, 6 players, even in the quarter final that we played them in, because of the Hail Mary touchdown we were talking about they did, where Warrington just had to take a knee, I believe, and they would have went to the playoff. Decided to try to convert a 4th down. They didn't get it. Wigan then threw a Hail Mary, they catch it, and then they go through on the head-to-head. And from the looks of it, they only had 5 players at the quarterfinal. And it's almost like the team booked it. They all assumed they weren't going to make it. So then they did other plans. And the next thing they've made it there. But credit to Wigan, they fought every single game with 5 people. And ultimately they won their last game in that placement. So who else was in that one? Salford. Great team. They were a good challenge on the first time around. On the second time playing at their home game, I think they were missing quite a few people as well, but still put up a good challenge. But overall, as a division, we just had to make sure we didn't do anything stupid. Like we call it banana peel games. We nearly had one of those against Manchester Titans.
I know. I was so upset to see that you didn't. I'll be honest with you. I was like, oh.
On the second time around, we were really prepping for Sheffield that game day. That I reckon our minds kind of slipped in the sense that against Manchester, it finished 42-48, where before it was 52-20 or something like that. We got out of that game with a win, and then in the Sheffield game on the second time around, on the first time we played them again, it was a 52-48 win to us, and then on the second time around, it was just a defensive game where at half time it was 8-0, and by full time it was 20-18. So,
wow.
we did what we had to do, but credit to Sheffield, they were one of the teams. They gave us a really good run for our undefeated streak, essentially. And there's some really incredible players that they have.
Yeah, I thought Sheffield looked really good at the playoffs. I watched one of their games and it was absolutely fantastic, to be honest. Great football. Same with Salford. I mean, just really, really good teams and highly entertaining. But speaking of highly entertaining, and no disrespect to Warrington, who are extremely good friends of mine, but who doesn't just kneel out a game when you're guaranteed a place in the playoffs and you decide to throw a Hail Mary that then gets picked off and taken all the way to the other end of the park and suddenly Wigan are there and you're not? Man, seriously, that is going to be a long 12 months thinking about that one. As a Detroit Lions fan, I know that feeling.
It had a knock-on effect as well, because once Wigan threw that Hail Mary and scored, and obviously they've gone to the finals, 2 days later Warrington put the message out they've actually folded as a club, and we've won that. So, I mean, that's obviously a baffled problem for next year, how they're going to realign essentially what is now 3 teams in the Prem North being relegated to some extent, and how they're going to fill that out. That's, for them to figure it out. But it is, Warrington was the first one of the teams I remember playing in the playoffs first time around. So then seeing, obviously them not making it, then folding, it's always a sad lead.
Oh yeah, no, definitely a sad end to the year. Great team. I mean, great team, great pedigree, great history. And ours, just a little bit on the north. Obviously, there was this ding dong going on between us and Newcastle. We both beat each other a couple of times. We had to play each other tons of times. Like, we didn't get any cross conference. It's like literally just it was just slugging it out against Newcastle, at Renfrewshire, West Lothian and Grangemouth again and again and again. It was like Groundhog Day, we only played on grass just to change things up a little bit. It was just like, my goodness, like we meet in AstroTurf one more time, this is going to literally feel like Groundhog Day. So we tried to change the venue, make it fun. But that was a great team though. Newcastle, quality team. We had a couple of ding dongs with them. We had our own problems mid-season too. We had a key member of the team, the club, who was involved in an accident that took him away from football, which really, we had that bit of a wrinkle too in the middle of the year. And in that wrinkle, we had a moment with West Lothian where 41-41. And it's just like, really? But West Lothian, in their defence, like, are the nicest guys in the world. Like, they are great, right? Brandon and Noel are fantastic. That whole team is just full of really nice guys. And you get into a really nice game of football and you take your eye off the ball because you're too busy having a laugh with each other and it's fun. And then suddenly you're like in the 2-minute warning and they only need to score to tie with you. And you think, well, how's this happened? Like, how has this happened? And then all of a sudden they're on you. And they man, credit to them. Do you know what I mean? They gave us a tie that similarly to you, maybe we were just a wee bit too relaxed. Maybe they played out the skins. You know what I mean? Like, they certainly deserved it, because when you look back on it, you put the points up. If it's a 0-0, you can feel frustrated, but it's a 41-41, then credit the other team, because they've got through you. But yeah, we got there, and then we had that final one with Newcastle, and that brought us to this place where we're going to spend time with this collective of dudes who all know each other really well. And at which point, so we maybe just for the sake of the listener and the viewer, and thank you very much for a little bit of the background, let's just take a look at the Southern playoffs. And maybe if it's all right with you, first of all, Josh, if we kind of walk our way through, because I see you in the upper half of this visual right now. So we've obviously got the Phoenix starting out the day against Titans, and then leading on the day from there. So do you want to walk us through how those games went for you, how it shaped up, what caught you by surprise? Spoiler alert, Panthers. And then maybe after that, if we just flip to the other half of the Tafia, who I'm slightly scared and perturbed by now, Connor. I'm not going to upset him because he's clearly got form when it comes to leveling a dude. So I'll treat him with all the utmost of respect. I've got next thing we face is him. So, so do you want to walk us through your Saturday afternoon in the Southern Prem playoffs for the Phoenix, please, Josh?
Yeah, so first game against Titans, we kind of walked into that game expecting a good day, a good game against Titans. So we beat them twice in the regular season. I would say we were the better team in the two games in the regular season, but postseason football is different. Like to be fair, I wouldn't know. That's my first time playing postseason football because I moved up from Cardiff Bay Coyotes last year. So this is my first year in the Prem as well as same as these two boys. So yeah, going into that game, just straight away, I knew it was going to be a good day. It was just Titans came out fighting. They wanted to win. You could tell they wanted to win. And yeah, it was a close game in the end, 24-19. I was lucky enough to get a full field touchdown in that game. That went straight on the Instagram story when I got the clip off Ben.
Did you get it? Did somebody film it? Did somebody film it?
Yeah, so we
best.
film all our games. So
Yeah.
I begged Ben to get that sent to me as soon as he could, and he got it to me the next day. But yeah, very good game against Titans. I got a lot of time with the Titans boys. Like Ollie, great player. Sam's a great player as well. He's gonna kill me for this, but I can't remember the callback's name now. But like me and him have some good conversation. So if he listens to this, I'm sorry. But yeah, and then
Got Matt.
What? Matt, thank you, Connor. Matt.
50% of all quarterbacks.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
Like,
the thing is, I've never
bet.
spoken to Sam. I've never spoken to Sam Tibbles, but no, forgot Matt's name, and I speak to Matt every time I see him. So yeah, sorry, Matt. And then going against Cardiff Storm, then so that game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, they had Tim Thomas back. They had their full strength team back. So they had Alex at QB again. Webley was playing, and then obviously Tim Thomas. So we were expecting a good game, especially after they just kicked Panthers out. So we knew that was going to be a tough game. Going into that, my record against Cardiff Storm is pretty good in season games. So currently, I think it's 4-1 to myself. So 1 win against them with Coyotes, and then 3 wins with Phoenix so far. But yeah, again, I got nothing but respect from majority of the boys on that team. And yeah, winning that game with a one-handed interception was kind of the icing on top. So yeah, really good game. And I think those 2 games alone really took it out on majority of the team because we were just playing with pure energy and passion. Like we wanted to be there. We wanted to get to finals. And we played everything we possibly could into that. Like everyone just played as hard as they could. And I'm so proud of the boys. Like just the way we came together that day for those 2 games. Like we just believed in each other. We were picking each other back up. One drop. Now let's get it. Next play. Like Ben's really good at trusting his receivers. Same with defense, missing a tackle, maybe he's going to pass breakup instead of interception. Like the boys really come together that for those 2 games especially. So yeah, like that's kind of it, to be honest. It was just 2 dog fights for both games, and I think it really took it out of us. So when we were playing the placement games against Nomads, obviously the results didn't go our way, but I think because we put so much energy in the first 2 games, like it really took us out. And we knew Nomads were going to be a tough game anyway, because obviously they beat us in the regular season. But yeah, 3 great games of football, so I can't really complain for my first time playing postseason football.
Man, that's great. And you must have felt for a minute when you had the Panthers score come in. There must have been a moment like Moses where you just watched like the sea part, and he's like, there's a path. There's a path that's shown right here. But nevertheless, Cardiff, what again? Neither of you are from Cardiff, are you?
I'm from Cardiff, so I'm not from Cardiff. I live about 20 minutes from Cardiff.
Okay.
So I travel up to Coventry for training every once in a while, and then obviously I just go to wherever the game day is. I'll just drive for myself.
That's solid dedication, mate. So you're in Wales right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now your countryman Connor, who clearly couldn't get far enough from Wales because he went to Norwich, which is literally in the North Sea. The last time I checked, you had a pathway through that was also really interesting because, I mean, no disrespect at all to BPP quality team, but I had Rebels picked the whole way. I thought this was going to be a Norwich Rebels game, and that was going to be a humdinger because it's obviously had a great game this season as well already. So I thought the stars were aligned for that, but it was not to be. Give us your way through, because it looks like a little bit more clear cut. Certainly, if we take a look at how you stood up against BPP and Bucks, but nevertheless, I'm sure that nothing is ever as easy as it looks on paper afterwards. These goes into a lot of execution to get that kind of stuff right. So tell us about your journey through.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll sort of start off by clarifying that I spent this day on the sideline, doing my best to help out the squad as best I can.
You weren't disqualified or barred or
not quite. No. My knee decided to blow up about halfway through the season, so we are trying our best to manage rather than do our bit on the field. But yeah, and so throughout the games that we played, it plays into that is, the people who did have to step up then and fill the gap did really, really well, and credit to them. So, every time I mention the defense, it's especially credit to the guys who've found themselves halfway through, if not later into the season, having to fill those spaces. But yeah, starting off with the first game versus Bucks Wolves, a team that a number of us are fairly familiar with. For myself, when I played with the Swansea Hammerheads, we'd matched up against them a good few times. A couple of changes since then for their personnel, but regardless, they're always very well drilled, and they're experienced players. They know how to play a game of flag football, and you can see that they held us to a very respectable 27 there, which very, very similarly to our regular season cross conference game against them. Kept us fairly shaky. We were never truly convinced that we were comfortable at any point. So hats off to them. Squeezing through.
I've just got a weird one I want to pick you on just now. I want to pick on you right now.
Go ahead.
Swansea, right? Okay, so in your group, everybody went to the finals apart from Swansea, who you used to play for, and also several other very good players you used to play for. Like, did Paul Lebet, did he upset you all or something? Was there a wind incident in a car? Because, man, I'm telling you, to see them finish in one, and the only kids who didn't get to go to the party, that you would not have called that. I mean, Vinny, you can back me up on this one too, mate. You would never have called that at the start of the season from a distance to say at the end of the season Swansea will have won one game and they'll be the only team in that group that doesn't make it to the final. You'd never call that. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the other southern division compared to us. So
of course they were. I'm looking at it. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll let you off lightly. I will let you off lightly. There's three from yours that says is Josh is the bad guy. Yeah. We'll come back to that one later. Okay, but I won't put you in that awkward spot. But
No, I mean, I'll go off. I am going to give a quick shout out to Ash Lewis for starting all this off with people exiling from Swansea Hammerheads. All blame goes to him. But yeah, it's an unfortunate spot where there's certain positions that people jump into that spot from other positions, and especially when the divisions change, the structure changes, and you're against. I'll be the first to say, we had some really tough games against the likes of Tiger Sharks this season, who ended up getting relegated, but they on another day beat us for sure, and very good quality. So the second that you are up against it for filling one of those key positions, you're gonna have some difficulty there, and unfortunately, just wasn't meant to be this year. But I'm 100% that the likes of Swansea will be back and firing. They've got a lot of knowledge there to build those players up, and I've seen some youth come through there that's gonna shine.
I wouldn't go sleeping on them too quickly. I mean, everyone's like that season, but. Okay, so you got through a game against Bucks Wolves, who were and my apologies, you're absolutely correct, in the South B. I think they were the fifth place team out of the six, but made it through the finals. So you went through that one, looks like fairly comfortably. VPP though, what the heck happened there? Did you guys get juiced up or something before that game? Because I that is not on anyone's bingo card, all right? So
yeah, I mean. in preparation, for the likes of the regionals like this, it's quite a difficult thing to try to do your scout when you could be playing, any number of these teams. Both Rebels and VPP, we had some close games with in the regular season. And yet we ended up being tied up against VPP. And there's the rest of the team felt it whilst they're on the pitch, and from the sideline, I saw it. There was a moment where, the newer guys that I mentioned earlier, as well as a couple of the team who've been there whole season, just seemed to get that gel. And these guys here who've played some defense as well can tell you that so much of it comes down to knowing the tendencies of the rest of your guys in that five. Once you start to feel that, it makes life so much easier. And I think it shined through. No discouragement to how VPP played. I think they've got some real quality there, especially with losing their QB from last season and bringing a new one for this season round. He's done a great job. I've seen lots of lovely throws there. But yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think the guys just stepped up there and did a really good job.
I think a lot of emphasis in the game is given to chemistry between quarterbacks and receivers, but really I think the great chemistry is in defense. When you get that, 10-legged monster, it's just all workers. When it's like that, it's known tendencies. It's known where a guy will stop his zone and where the other one will pick up, knowing that he's going to, he's not going to go so far to the outside, but he's going to cover the middle for you without doing that kind of, I think, you really do see that in top quality teams, that the defense never feels like 5 players. It feels like 1 player with 10 legs, if it's really good. So yeah, that's that. I like that insight, and we'll definitely be. We're playing you next. So
yeah, I won't give you too much more than that.
Note to self, note to self. Cut hard on Connor. Yeah, it's like. But right, okay. So then you got through to. I'm not going to languish too much in the other results of the day, because I think when you get towards the end, and it's this weird feeling, isn't it? You're going to finals, and you still got a game to play, and it's almost like. Really? I mean, I'm not even going to lie about this, right? Like, I coach a team, and I didn't even realise that game existed until 3 days before the playoffs. I was just like, oh, my God, I didn't even realise that we were going to play that game. And I was trying to pretend to everyone I knew it all along when I was saying, oh, yeah, we finished by 3. And I was like, oh, my God, there's a game at the end of the day. It's like, and that's an awful mentality, but it is a bit like that. You're going to Coventry, so you're kind of there, but... one team that certainly didn't take their foot off the gas and hasn't taken their foot off the gas and will never take their foot off the gas. If I just use that as a segue into my guy Vinny, Leicester. Now I know you got a little bit of a glitchy mic there, but like I'm hoping that this is, I can hear you fine, bro. It's like, so give us a bit of a walkthrough on the day, starting off with that really close game you had against Wigan.
Yeah, I mean,
we obviously held back.
It started before that. Obviously, the game day being in Carlisle, and Leicester not being exactly close by, it was a case of a logistical nightmare. Firstly, trying to get everyone up to Carlisle, because we looked at, could we get up there Saturday before the game, and it was not possible because it would mean leaving about 4 or 5 a.m. So then it was trying to get everyone to get there Friday night before. So essentially the younger lads out on trains and hotels for the day. Some of them also had GB camp on the Sunday of that. So then it was also trying to figure a way of getting them back to Loughborough for their GB ventures. So that was the first part of it. And obviously once that was sorted, it was then just a case of making sure we do our work. So we went into Wigan with respect. We saw that they only had 5 players, and we played them before. We knew, like, as long as we do the fundamentals right, we will go through in that round. And I think by half-time it had already entered Mercy Rule at that point. So it was a good opportunity to get some of the guys who wouldn't be starting normally to get some reps. And then towards the end, we were just having a bit of fun with Wigan. They ended up going down to 4, so then we then decided to also go down to 4 for one play, just to keep it somewhat fair. But then they came back on, and then the game finished, and it was just a case of then sitting and waiting to see what happened in the Salford versus Sheffield game, which, because of how quickly it finished with the Mercy Rule, it meant we were able to see a essentially a Hail Mary by Salford to take it into overtime. And then, it was a extra point shootout best of 3 with both teams missing the first one. And then Sheffield essentially winning the shootout.
That was a great game. That was a beautiful game. We were all watching that because yours had finished so early. We were all crowded around that game. That wasn't that a good game, though. I mean, like, really, Sheffield Giants get solved.
I think it wasn't just us that did one of the games as well. They had stopped and came around to watch it. It was almost like a bowl atmosphere. Everyone crowded around the end zone, around the field, watching it, celebrating, making the noises. And it was one heck of a game, and it could have gone anyway. Annoyingly for us, it just meant that we didn't know who we were playing till the last minute. But at the same time, it then meant when we went into Sheffield, ultimately they've had a longer game than expected. Motion of going through and then coming back down to get ready for the game versus us was good. I mean, it was a great game tactically. Adam Berry is one of he knows his defense. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and credit to him, he did a really good job scheming something up for our offense and their offense as well, with Jimmy, Josh. There was Dando, their quarterback. They were really moving the ball well, but we focused a lot on that game on the basis of, right, let's scout for Sheffield, do what we need to do, make the adjustments from game 1 into game 2 and then into game 3. And ultimately it all paid off, where that game, I think it finished 6 scores to 2 or 6 scores to 3, something like that. I can't actually read their graphic there, it's quite tiny.
Yeah, you got the Leicester Huntsmen 52, Sheffield 26. Basically, they got 50%.
Yeah. So that was good. We went out that. We were then obviously looking, and this is where it's slightly different. We were then looking forward because we didn't get cross conference this year round, so we only ever played within our division. So knowing going into the final of the North, we were going to play either Newcastle or you guys. It was for us. It's like, okay, cool. We are going to Coventry regardless of this result, but it's actually now nice to play a team that we haven't played before. Relatively, obviously, we played you guys last year, but it was a completely different team this year. But it's again just that nice feeling to play a different team. Ultimately, it is what that game was, in the sense that both teams were going to come to you guys, didn't want to.
Are you criticising us for kicking a field goal in that game?
No, we definitely.
This happened, by the way.
Or play a game of rock paper scissors on the line of scrimmage, but it was kind of one of those. We wanted to get that game played so that we can see where we stand against Oxford. But I understand why essentially you guys didn't, and that's it is what it is.
I'm showing you nothing, bro. If I play you again, right? If I play you again this year, it's going to be everything counts. Okay, so it's like literally, I'm showing you nothing in that game. So we kicked a field goal corner. We wanted to see if we could pull it off. We also had a play which involved our quarterback collapsing and receiving CPR, and that was a trick play. It was the stumble bumble by the Detroit Lions. We just taken to an extreme. Okay, that was just like, it's like, let's see what happens if we but Vinny, and absolutely not taking anything away from you. I could see from the get-go you were going to have the edge on us all day. So for me, it was just a little bit like, I've got 2 choices here: either show you everything and come away empty-handed, or show you nothing and come away empty-handed but laughing, and I'll do that. I'll take the latter,
And that's fine. So, if you guys do get past Norwich, let's see if it pays off. But other than that, it was a good venue. We initially had our concerns first when we were playing on the grass pitch, but that pitch was, perfect relative to all the other grass pitches we've played in other leagues where it's almost concrete running on. So, credit where the venue was. It was a really good grass pitch on that, but
it's a lovely pitch.
We did what we needed to do. As some guys mock us as well in the North, we tend to have a thing of playing cricket between our games as a way of active recovery. So between the semi-final and the final, while I was reffing, I saw all the lads playing cricket at the bottom field. So that was a good sign. Essentially everyone's feeling relaxed and ready to go.
our home venue is so posh they have a cricket pitch, right? Okay, so like just the Austin Friars is ridiculously posh. It's like, I think they charge £21,000 a kid per year to go there, right? Which is in Carlisle terms, that's astronomical. That's like £1 million anywhere else. Okay, and the pitches are beautiful. They put their full iPath markings for us. Everything's like just meticulous. And credit to them. Thanks very much for letting us kind of use that. But they have a cricket pitch, and the Leicester guys, I could see you guys just eyeing it, just going, "Is that for real over there?" So there's an even better one down the hill. There's a full size one down the hill that's just like insane with the boards and everything. Next time you come up, right, we'll play half of football, we'll play half of cricket. Okay, just to make it.
So we've got Flag this weekend, and ultimately flag is not the priority for that. It's the cricket that's happening across.
Of course.
All the game, as well as getting over teams involved. So that's a different.
Well, Flag Palooza is going to be like concrete. So here's fingers crossed that you get loads of injuries. No, I'm only kidding. Right, so I'm not going to do our side so much as I'm just going to give credit to the Lancashire Raptors, who genuinely were struggling on the day for players. They were struggling for availability. They put a team up as best they could. They came down. They gave us a good game of football. It was a good laugh. Great guys. I'm sure that on another day with their full squad, you're looking at a result that would have been a lot closer than that one was. Big game for us was obviously Newcastle. Obviously, we played each other 4 times. They beat us twice. We beat them twice. So there was a point. There's a bit of a Hadrian's Wall thing going on there as well between the two of us. It's a kind of who's the most nearly Scottish team. I think some guy from Scotland team, the new Scotland flag team, was down there saying, "I'm calling this the almost Scottish final." It was like, hey, but that was a game. It was a good game. And then clearly, you guys, you're coming in with such a hot hand, Vinny. Though I mean, at the end of the day, it was clear that you guys were. I think you looked like the best team of the day. To be honest with you, apologies if we were a bit light-hearted, but I'm more amazed at the fact that he actually survived 48 hours in Carlisle without like getting bitten or stabbed or anything crazy.
I would say some of us stayed over the Saturday night, and it was quite eventful. As to not necessarily people getting carried away, but just the locals around us. It was a bit of a get us out of it situation.
Yeah. There's a place called Botchagate, right? If for the listener, if you have a partiality for the wildest night out you'll ever come across in your entire life, then come to Carlisle on Saturday and go down Botchagate, or Botch as it's officially known, and you'll see things you've never seen. Like you'll see things like Benidorm's got nothing on this. Okay, it's just like the police close the street off every Saturday night. They just literally get. The whole street gets closed off because they know that people are going to be drunkenly staggering across the road. Guys, like seriously, and Vinny and his guys decided to stay there. Now, if I'd known that, I would have pulled it out of the hat to make the game the Sunday, knowing that you guys would have got no sleep on the Saturday night. You'd have been wrecked. But, yeah, there we go. Well done. Hey, let's move on now to the big deal, and the big deal is obviously the final dance, and this is how it's going to look. So, the next time the 4 of us will be together, then obviously this is how it's going to look. So, game number 1 is going to be Leicester Huntsmen's coming in as the North number 1 seeds, undefeated against hot Coventry Phoenix, who were 3rd, and we said this 1st and 3rds only at the final this year. And then game number 2 is the Norwich Nomads, my good mate Connor, who hopefully still got a sore knee by then, against the Border City Centurions. And that's where we'll see each other. And the really awkward thing is, right, one of us is coming home with nothing, and the other one's coming home with at least a bronze, and then the other 2 are going to go to the Nationals. How weird does that feel? It's like Hunger Games. It's like one of us is going to die. It's like, and I get a feeling it's me, but there we go. Anyone got anything they want to call out in this?
Regardless of what happens based on that, one Div 1 team from last year will be in the Nationals next year.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
Speaking to Neil earlier this week, he was mentioning obviously our team, we've had the youth before COVID, who are now playing in our adult team, Shining. The Norwich Nomads, their youth obviously started through the Waveney Wolves, and now they're all shining with, Ali, Beth, and I do apologise, I can't actually, and a few others of their youth team. Phoenix, they're also a youth team that's born out from their Coventry Cougars days. So that's Ben Eaton, Kieran, Mish. Quite a lot of that team have all played youth football. I don't know about Border City's youth side, so I will refrain from speaking about that. But it's good to see that the youth system has all fed through on the big stage.
Which is great. And that is great. Yeah, we've just started the youth thing, but Border City have got 40-year history in Carlisle in terms of contact teams before flag. And we had a rough time. We were always the team that was beaten by everyone. I was involved with all those teams. So I mean, we've discussed this before. We have two 27-year-olds and 28-year-old in this, and that terrifies me when I think about how long I've been around for and how much of an old fart I am. Fortunately, I don't play. But it's 1988, right? I played for my first Carlisle team. And down the years, we've been tanked. We've gone seasons of 0 and 10, 0s and 15, 0s, and we got beat. And when I came back home, I was with the Titans for a long time, playing contact there and then playing a bit of flag with them in Manchester. And when I came back home, I was absolutely adamant that Carlisle was going to have a team. And it was and all that was going to be worth it. All that pain was going to be worth it. And that's what we have now. So there's a lot of bitterness wrapped up in Carlisle. There's a lot of bitterness. But boy, we learned how to lose. And that's kind of what's made us what we are today. But a lot of those guys, coming back to the youth point, Lewis Curl, guys like that, I knew these guys when they were young, when they were trying out this Carlisle team. Hell, I was 16 years old when I played my first contact game. That was illegal. Literally, I was down there just helping out, and it got to half time and a quarterback got injured, and the head coach turned around to me and said, "Can you put this helmet on?" 16 years old, no registration, straight into a game of football. That was where it started, So, so we were all kind of through that. But guys, it's great. I mean, you're right, Vinny. This has been good because a lot of people said Div 1 teams are going to struggle this year, and it's good to see that that's not the case. It's good to see that. In fact, I know a fair bit about all three of your teams. I've done a fair bit of scouting on you. I won't lie. We all do that. Come on, that's part of what we do. But I think your teams, you can beat half the national teams. I mean, from what I've seen, certainly Leicester. I've been saying that all year. You're better than half the national straight away. So all that kind of oh, you're only a Div 1 team. That's nonsense. We've got a 3-tier structure. It's not really been tested yet. I think there's going to be a few years of kind of sieving things up and down before it settles. And I hate the fact that only 2 teams get dropped out of the nationals this year. I think that's a massive injustice to actually getting a more fluid table. I think it should have been a half cut and a half going up and just really shake the globe until you can get it right. But whatever, we don't get to make those decisions. But I think that you guys are all pedigree. You're all certainly good enough to be in there. You're certainly good enough to win games in there. I can't see any of you going up and getting relegated. So it's exciting. I think what we have in front of us is exciting. And then we're going to have a great time in Coventry. Maybe if you guys are up for a beer afterwards, irrespective of how it goes. In fact, we could put a bet on winner bags. Okay. We could maybe build a little bit of fun into it. But I guess closing thoughts as we get towards the top end of the show. And I thank you so much, by the way, for not only being here for this show tonight, but also the sportsmanship, the camaraderie. A lot of people won't talk to other teams before a game, but here we are, the 4 of us. I can't say we're going to be the best of friends in a month from now, who knows, but tonight, we've had a good time, a good conversation. Any closing thoughts in terms of what this season means to each one of you individually? Where your goals were at the start of the season, maybe what made this so important for you this year? Because to get to this point, right, it's not just about turning up winning games. You know that, okay? We all know that. It's you go a little bit further, right? You sacrifice. You don't miss training sessions. You make things happen. Dramas will happen along the way. Players will have hissy fits, and you just have to focus as a team and just push through. You don't just get here by winning games of football. You get here by sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice, and that's what ultimately gets you to the stage that the 4 of us are at now. Pain, and keep going. Connor, maybe if I start with you first of all, I'll give you a second to think about your response, but give us something personal about that journey. What did you set yourself out at the start of this year and just think, do you know what? I'm doing this. No matter what it takes, I'm doing. What's driven you this year? Or certainly what adversities have you had to overcome in order to get to this position you're in now? Do you want to give us a bit of that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's looking at it as a new system. Jumping up to the second tier of a new 3-tier system. With quite a lot of unknown. Granted, we played a couple of the teams who'd also jumped up from Div 1 to this new Prem. It was very much, let's not take anything for granted. Let's work really hard to make sure that there's no excuses come the end of the year to say that if we'd maybe tried a bit harder in our approach, we could have come out with more wins or, a general product that we're more proud of. So I think that's the main thing for me is, everyone that's contributed as part of our team has really understood that that's our goal is be proud of our product. Let's see where we end up at the end of the year. And, here we are, with 3 other teams that have, I'm sure you'd all say the same thing, is you worked really hard to get where you are. Just put on a showcase now come September. Incredibly proud of everyone that's taken part and believed in, at least speaking personally, my defensive system. But mirroring that for the offense, everybody's that's bought into what Alistair has done as part of his offense. There's a lot of trust, and if you don't have that trust, then it isn't going to work. So yeah, just proud of them all.
Yeah, I like that. So I take away from that, you've got a team that trusts, and you're willing to push through it and just to keep going. And I like this analogy. I was hearing the gambler in my head there. You never, do your counting while you're sitting at the table. The time enough for counting when the dealing's done. I guess I get that mentality from you guys. It's a 0-0 mentality all the way until you look at the scoreboard at the end, and that's a scary kind of team I don't want to play. Anyway, what about you, Josh? What have you? I mean, apart from literally being so tall that it must be really difficult to get oxygen at the level that you're at. I mean, what's the sorry guys, that's really harsh. I'm just very jealous. What have you had to? How did you set your stall out? Like this year, let's say this is coming into this fresh into pro-season football. I mean, tell me something about what triggered you this year, or at what point you thought to yourself, do you know what, I'm having this? This is my time.
So Ben and Kieran have so I've played a lot of international football with Ben and Kieran because we go out for Nuola. So we've won Sweden twice. We've done like Pink Bowl together, King Bowl together, Flag and New Year together. We've done all sorts of different tournaments, and like they've come down to Wales to play for Coyotes in Welsh Bowl. And we've been having the conversation for about 2 years now where like, are you going to come up? Like, do you want to like come play for Phoenix next year? Last season, I wanted one more season with Coyotes because I wanted to try and push them for to get promotion. Unfortunately, didn't go that way because we played in 2 leagues with Coyotes last year, so we're doing Outlaw League as well. And then we went to Pink Bowl in 2025 and finished second to a 3-point loss to Molasses. I came back the week later, did OFL. Don't want to speak bad on any teams because I think the community's fantastic, but we lost to a team that we should have beaten as the Coyotes. And that kind of triggered me then that, okay, like I've just come back from a 3-point loss to basically the French national team. And now I'm back here losing to a team that we probably should have beaten. And then it kind of, from that point then, I was really into the kind of the vision that Kieran and Ben provided me. Because obviously with Phoenix season last year, they had 2 wins. So coming into this, I knew that, okay, right, they want me here because they see something that I can help them with. And I've had obviously the blessing to come play wide receiver for them. Like originally I thought I was going to come up, have a couple of drives when they need me, but being able to play all season for my first season in the Prem. So I got to give the boys credit for trusting me to come up from kind of a mid-side Div 1 team to straight into the Prem, straight down, foot on the gas. So yeah, I got to shout out Ben and Kieran for that, for trusting me. But yeah, we did flag a partner the start of the year, won that, and I was like, okay, right, these boys are serious now. We got such a good unit as well. So like our offense of me, Ben, we got Jason Matthews who's come back now, so he's our centre. We did have Curtis and Kieran playing. Curtis unfortunately injured, so hasn't been able to play this year. Kieran comes in when he needs, and we got John Kamara then. Like our offense is stacked, and like we all trust each other. We can all make big plays, so it's good. And then our defensive Kieran, Gabe, our safety when he is here, Dan, Zach, Jay Lee. Like I trust the boys, and as I said, they kind of trusted me for my first training session with Phoenix. Like we all got on so well. Like, I knew some of the boys anyway, so I knew Mish and Gabe before going into it. But we're a tight unit. We know when to keep each other in check. Like we know when to build each other back up. Like no one's scared of criticism. If someone sees something that they think that you could be doing better in the game, we'll tell each other straight. And I think that's got us to where we are now. I'm a big believer of losses turn to lessons and lessons turn into wins. And that's what we've showcased this year. When we've lost, we've learned from it. Like if we look at the Panthers score, for example, we lost to the Panthers and then went to go beat them the second time round. So regardless of what happens now in the finals, like I'm so proud of what we've been able to do this year, especially the season that they had last year. Nothing's really changed within the squad apart from me and Jay Lee coming in and Jason coming back from Malaysia. But yeah, just awfully proud of all the boys, to be honest with you. Obviously when I joined Phoenix, like I was like, let's go win a national championship. Like that's what we want to do. And I put on my notes like things I want to accomplish this year. One of them is winning the national championship. I managed to take everything else off in regards to personal things. So like getting my first Prem touchdown, first extra point, first interception, whatever it is. The one that's not ticked off is the national championship, and obviously that's what we're gunning for. But yeah, again, we've got a really tough game, first game. Finishing that Nomads game, we were kind of thinking either way, if we wanted to go win the national championship, we were going to have to play the Huntsmen at some point.
I love this about you. You've got a real humility. You really, and it comes across. You're a nice guy. It comes across really clearly. You respect Cardiff Storm. Cardiff Coyotes. My apologies.
Yeah.
Best social media ever. Like the stories are freaking great. Do you know what I mean? It's just like if you're not following them, you're missing out on life. Do you know what
I agree. That's me. That's me and my boy Hugo that runs that. So a lot of the kind of graphics come from Hugo, but like we come together for the creative side of things. So we're in the process of doing. So every year we do a like a post-season video.
Yeah, the one that goes upstairs last year. That was actually hilarious. That was literally
that rustled a few further than the Cardiff Storm group chat. Apparently,
it was
I thought it was funny, but apparently some of them didn't find it too funny. But they didn't mind too much after
you can't take anything. That's comedy genius, mate. All right,
so thank you.
No, but great and well done and trust, and I love that. I love your hard work. I love the fact that you're like, I can't believe that they trusted me and all that. You're like, we won this, we won that, we won the other, we almost beat it. I can't believe they trust me. I mean, man, I love your humility. All right, like seriously, like, and your list too, man. The difference in a 27-year-old's list, right, and a 53-year-old, 52-year-old is mine's was move house. My wife gets a full-time job, right? We're gonna have a kid this year. I can't believe it. 53 and I'm having my first ever child.
Congratulations.
And then halfway down that, right at the bottom was like make finals. Like was like, way beneath like get under 90 kilos. Do you know what I mean? It's like these are middle-aged man problems right here. Okay. I love your focus. Now, Vinny, I think I hazard a guess that yours is win out. Just win out. But there must be something that's making that tick in Leicester, because you guys are savage. I've seen you play twice up close and personal now, and you look scary good. All right, come on, tell me about your year.
I appreciate that. So, I mean, the start of the season, it was first looking at what our squad was. So we lost one player due to a bad knee injury, so he was out for the whole year. But he's been, coming down to watch us during the camp. That's Luke Wicks. Jake Cartwright, as most of you guys will know, he also did his knee, and he wasn't expected to return until mid-season. And if you've been following like the GB Worlds, we had Luke Sweeney as part of our receiving corps. He then got a new job up in Manchester, so he then joined the Manchester Titans national team, and obviously he's then propelled there as one of the highlights of the GB squad out there at the minute. But then it's about looking at our B team and see who we can bring up from there. So we brought a couple of the lads from there into our A structure. Recruited as well from our ex-head coach and Taz, who left the club last year, but still very part of what we're doing in the background. And then it was just a case of making sure everyone knows what our goals are, what to expect, player expectations, and just go into it, ideally with less drama in the regular season to what we had the year before, where a player accidentally, purposely speared one of ours, and then two of ours got ejected, and all that commotion that came around that final game day. But then it was just do our job, do what we need to do, try not to get involved with off-field bickering, which is, we've worked on it, and everyone's essentially maturing and growing up is the best way to put it now. And then it was just go from there, and have fun, most importantly, as well. As much as we want to win, it's about having fun at the end of the day, and sometimes the best fun is winning. So we balanced it all well. Coaches, myself, Akil, Alex, everyone, and even players took a step up in leadership as well, to the point. Marcus, who was reliant last year on play calling and squad rotation, he's took it into his stride of calling the offense that he wants at any given time. He's taken responsibility of play calling, and that step up that way he's had from last year to this year is very much seen. Same on defense, with other players making the decisions, making the right calls, and ultimately that personal growth from everyone. It's it's a team job. It's not reliant on one or two people. It's like everyone contributing where they can. So I'm proud of everyone from our team, the commitment they've made. As the first game day of the season, the day of our game got changed last minute. So a lot of the team booked the Saturday off to play, and then next thing we were playing on the Sunday, and all of a sudden they can't move their days off, or whatever plans they had no longer can be changed. So credit for everyone to make everything work where possible, as well as traveling to the north every game day, where we were used to traveling respectively under an hour for every game, other than the one game day in Norwich, to then this game day where, other than our home, everything's in about 2 hours. Which, when I then compared to what Norwich are doing, they would happily appreciate that. But it's that that ultimate culture difference of knowing in Div 1 you're only traveling in the Midlands to, okay, now you have to venture upfield, and in a way, in the back of our minds, if Baffa keep that same system that we have, ultimately two of the four here are going to go into that Northern National Division. So it could be trips to Aberdeen for us. But no, other than that, looking forward to September and seeing what great day of flags going to be.
Well, there's so much trust between you guys and your teams. That's the common theme here. Okay, right, I'm going to make mine real brief. Spite, absolute spite. I was done. I was quitting. I've said this for years. I keep on saying I'll quit. The only reason I started this team up was because my mum had passed away and I needed something to keep me sane. Right, and the end of last year, I was like, I've done everything I needed to do. I just wanted to get Carlisle on the map, and we've done it. And I was happy, and I told the whole team I was going to be done. I said I was retired, I was finished. Finally, I've been in this game since 1988, right? So like literally, my wife is like, stop doing this now, okay? Like we literally have a life. Like we have to move on. And I'm listening to a podcast, the other podcast. I won't name by name, but the other podcast. I'm listening to the podcast, and really, it wasn't even said in a nasty way. It was just the way it was said. It was like that. They've done really well for Carlisle, and that got me. I was like, what do you mean we've done well for Carlisle? It just felt so personally, are you saying that Carlisle doesn't deserve to do well? Are you saying that any team in this league doesn't deserve to, because geographically they're inferior? And that just got me. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, right, we're coming back and we're going to beat you. And it was as simple as that. It was just like, we're coming back, we're going to beat you. We're just going to, and I swear, just let me just retire this year, guys. If you're on another podcast or anything like that, just leave it. Just to be like, hey, Carlisle's done good. Do you know what I mean? Just don't say they've done well for Carlisle, because then I'll just have to keep coming back. You will get rid of me, okay? Just let me just slip off quietly. Just let me retire with dignity instead of just sprinkling the vinegar in, because that just sets me off each time. And that was why. Man, that was why. That's why I went 19-0 last year too. There's just like people going, but it's only Carlisle. It's like, well, okay, then. In which case, we're just going to beat you. Do you know what I mean? It's just so yeah. Just don't. So I love the fact you're all really positive and I'm really negative. But there we go. That's maybe when you're 53 years old and you're sitting on a podcast with some really talented 27 and 28-year-old guys who are involved in the game, you'll be sitting there going, "No, I am the bitter old man. Like I am now Nick Nice." So, but guys, for tonight, thank you so much. Thank you so much for investing the time in this show. Thank you for the fact that we spent an amazing hour together. I've heard so much about your teams. I feel so like I'm really looking forward to meeting you all as people. It's going to be hard to now get the game face on against any of you because like the backstories are wonderful. And thank you for sharing those, and thank you for everything you've done this season. Thank you most of all for just being great teams and just like setting a really good standard of football this year, showing that Prem really isn't just a kind of like a hot version of Div 1. Showing that Prem is absolutely teams coming up into the Nationals to look to win the Nationals, to look to compete in the Nationals, to look to, you're absolutely trailblazers. I thank you so much for your time tonight. I am not going to look forward to seeing any of you in Coventry, but if we can get that pint afterwards, that'd be real nice. Guys, you're welcome in the show anytime, and particularly however this pans out, this last one, this last dance that we have together pans out. I'm more than welcome to come back in the show as victors or losers, and we can have this ding dong again, and we can go through how that day unfolded, because I'm sure that there'll be stories to tell in that one too. Until then, though, guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you to your teams. Thank you to the Nomads. Thank you to the Phoenix and to the Huntsmen. It's going to be an absolutely awesome final, and you all deserve to be there. So, let's just go down, turn it on, show them what we can do now, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Put on a show.
All right, we're good. Right. Okay. Well, in which case, then, thank you most of all to you, the listener and viewer, for once again giving us an hour of your life. What have you got going on in your life that you can give this an hour of your life? Really, seriously, go and meet someone. Just sort your life out. Have a child. Okay. But until such a time, we're very grateful for your company. We're thank you for the vagabonds that make this community what it is, and most of all, for the passion and love and commitment and the mileage from the Leicester guys, no less. Than the Norwich that you put in every year, and also Josh, who drives all the way from bloody Wales to the Midlands just to compete. Thank you for all the miles, the pain, the heartache, and the love, because that's what makes this football what it is, and you're the guys who really matter. Cheers, guys. Have an awesome time. See you dudes in Coventry.